What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about the 2025 violin accessories that you need. Most of these I found in 2024 and they are obviously following me into 2025, but I'm also going to talk about some of the things that I found that I did not like. The first thing I found is this shoulder rest. Now, this is like a totally unnamed, unbranded shoulder rest. You know I love the Kun shoulder rest, K-U-N. For some reason, you cannot get it on Amazon, and I really needed a new shoulder rest. And then I found this one is just totally unbranded, unlabeled. I don't know what it is, but it also collapses. It's so comfy, it's so perfect. It's literally like a Kun shoulder rest, but it's not. I don't know. I love it. This is my favorite shoulder rest I've found so far, and I'm using it every single day. The next thing, and this is a really basic one that is not a new find for 2025 or anything, but like I started using it more, and that is this silver practice mute. I specifically love this type of practice mute because it is very heavy, so you have to be careful with it. It's very heavy, so when you place it on your violin, it does such a great job of silencing it that it has become my favorite practice mute. Now again, this is a practice mute, so what that means is you are not supposed to be practicing with this mute every single freaking day, every single time you play your violin, because this hides a multitude of sins, trust me. So you want to only use this when you absolutely have to. So like when my husband's in a meeting or my baby's sleeping, or I don't know, or you're in a hotel room, I'm not sure what your extenuating circumstances might be that you would use a practice mute, but only in those, like I said, extenuating circumstances when you absolutely have to use the mute, should you use a mute. Do not put a practice mute on every single time you practice, because you're actually teaching yourself a million thousand bad habits. But I do love this practice mute if you do need it for those one-offs. I have two bow favorites to show you. These are both student model bows, but the pricing is quite different on them both. So the first one, I just got this one on Amazon. This is a Violin bow, and I love this bow. First of all, I am a carbon fiber bow person, 100%. I will never use a wood bow again, so these are all carbon fiber. I love this Violin bow. I think it was $56. It is really, really good for the price. If you're looking for a good student bow at a really good price, I would highly recommend the Violin. But if you have a little bit more wiggle room and you actually need a decent student bow, I would highly recommend the Bow Prodigy. It's their lowest model. I think it runs about $350 though. It is an excellent, excellent student bow. I literally, still to this day, this is what I consider my outside bow. So I will play this at gigs quite frequently because I love this bow so much. It's a bow that I use. I won competitions on it. It's a bow, like literally, it's a student bow, but it's just so freaking good. I love it so much. So I highly recommend the Bow Prodigy if you have a little bit more wiggle room with finances and you want a little bit better of a bow. Along the same lines of bows, I found this Kaplan rosin again on Amazon, and I have to say, the case is adorable for it. It's so good. It's a nice dark rosin, because if you know, I will only use a dark rosin. I'm very specific about this. It is such a good rosin. Like, I am so incredibly impressed with it. It has just enough bite, but it's also like, yeah, it's so smooth and beautiful at the same time. Like, this rivals my very expensive Andre rosin. I don't know, they've named it something different at this point. I don't know what it is, but this rivals like my very expensive rosin that I have, to the point that like I'm almost like, should I just switch to this one? Like, it's so good. And I just literally randomly found it online. It was like, oh, that case is cute, and I got the rosin, and it's amazing. Okay, the next item I'm gonna show you, you cannot judge me for, because this has been my case for, I think, 15 years. And the reason I'm including it in this is because in 2025, it is my goal to get a new case, and I want the exact same one, maybe a different color because they come in cool colors, but I love this case. Okay, again, don't judge my case, it's scuffed. This was a fragile sign when I was traveling in Australia, and it just never came off. It was also clipped in my trunk at one point. Like, literally, this case has been everywhere and done everything. If you ever need to travel with your violin, this is perfect because it can fit really well into the overhead compartments. It's a nice carbon fiber. Like I said, there's a million different colors. My second one that I've had, but again, I've had this one probably for 15 years, and I need a new one. I know I need a new one. I mean, it's falling apart now. But like I said, I'm including it in my favorites because it is such an incredible, incredible violin case, and I love it so much. Now let's talk the products that I did not love for 2024 that I tried, and I actually don't have them because I literally tossed them out when we moved. I was like, I do not want this. I do not need this. This is the stupidest thing ever. The first thing, I'm gonna try and put pictures though, if I can find pictures like on Amazon or something. The first thing is a chin rest cover. Now I know so many people want a cover, like a cloth to go over their chin rest because it hurts your shoulder or it hurts, it hurts your chin or your neck or something. And I cannot tell you how actually bad that is. It doesn't allow you to feel where the violin's at, and the violin needs to be one with you. Your placement is incorrect if it's hurting you, that I found. Now, I know a lot of professionals use them. That's fine. I do not recommend them for students at all. I think it teaches terrible habits, and it also it's not fixing anything because the problem is you're not putting it on your shoulder correctly, not that you need to cover something up because it hurts. The next thing, we've already kind of a little bit talked about this, but I'm just gonna put this in a blanket statement, light rosin. Like any colored rosin that is lighter than like a super dark rosin, I do not touch, I do not use. I actually tried a few this year. I know, so proud of myself. Don't like them, don't use them, I hate them. You know, it's just me. The next thing is what's called a bow right. And basically what this does is you set this on top of your violin where your bow would go, and it helps you to have a straight bow. Now the issue is if you're an older student, what this is doing is it's basically using crutches when your leg isn't broken. You're not really allowing yourself to learn how to play the violin properly because you've just slapped a little, like a situation on top of your bow where you're like, yeah, that fixes it pretty much. Okay, let's just play. And now you're never going to learn how to actually move your bow properly. So I would highly recommend, instead of using a bow right, learn how to move your bow properly and take that off. It's like crutches when you do not need them. Okay, this is another one. Polishes and cleaners. I don't use any of them. I do not use any of them. I will go and get my violin cleaned professionally probably once every 5 years or something like that. Like, I do not clean my violin. Of course, I'm always like, I will wipe off the rosin. I have a cloth to clean off my violin. Of course, every single time do that. But as soon as you feel like you need to use polishes and cleaners, a lot of them aren't gentle enough. A lot of them are too abrasive. Some of them are just so soft they're not gonna actually do anything. Like, to me, it's a little bit of a waste. I've never loved them or felt like it was a huge thing that I needed to do, and I play my violin every single day. So like, if my violin is being played that much and not getting that dirty, what are you doing with your violin that you need to be polishing it? And the last one are those mutes that stay on your violin and then they slide. Not the little black ones. The little black ones are great. But then you slide them on to your bridge, and then you can slide them off, all things. They actually can grab your strings and start stripping your strings of the winding. I've had that happen so many times every time I've used them. And so I do not recommend those kind of mutes at all. I know that's just like a little random one, but it was something I tried out this past year, and I was just like, why? No, we don't do this. So those are my 2025 violin accessories. Oh, I didn't even say my favorite violin. Oh my gosh. I talked about everything except the best violin I found in 2024, which you guys already all know is my Louis Carpini violin that I will love forever. I reached out to Kennedy Violins because I was like, hey, I want to try some violins and like find a good student violin I can recommend to people. Can you send me a few? And they sent me a few, and I tried some out, and I was like, oh yeah, these are great. And they sent me a few more. And then the Louis Carpini was sent to me, and I was like, stop everything. This is the violin that every student violinist needs. So like, I don't care if you are just starting, or if you're maybe even an intermediate student looking for a new violin, like this violin is so good. I wish I had it right now. I don't have it because I moved, so I had to send it back. I'm gonna get it back, don't worry. But I highly, highly recommend the Louis Carpini violin. If you go back in any of my recent videos, I'm playing it, every single one of them, because I literally was playing it at gigs. I was playing it everywhere I went because it was one of my favorite violins, and I was so incredibly impressed with the playability, with the ease of playing, with how beautifully it stayed in tune. If you get too cheap of a student violin, they will not stay in tune, and it's like the most annoying thing ever. But this violin like stayed in tune. It was beautiful. It played so well and so easily. Like, I highly recommend that. And that is the violin that I found in 2024 that I am absolutely hoping to bring into 2025, because that violin was incredible. That is my favorites of 2024 / the items you need for 2025, and also what to not even bother with. If you have any new products that you found that you really liked, shoot them in the comments because I would love to know kind of what you found. I'm always trying to try new things and, you know, just keep up to date with what's happening in the violin world. That's all for now. Well, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.